So we've been learning a lot about the Ontario Hockey League during this series, going season by season when the OHL got its start back in 1980-81. And now we enter the 2016-2017 season. 20 teams playing 68 games, but this one's a personal favorite of mine because this is the first season I joined the Barrie Colts as the play-by-play voice on Rogers TV. So this season has a little special place in my career. Although it would have been nice if the Barrie Colts made the playoffs my first year. But let's dive into it, looking at the regular season standings first. In the West Division, it would be the Sioux Greyhounds taking the lead, 48, 16, 33, and 100 points. That was their record. Second, the Windsor Spitfires, 41, 19, 5, and 3 for 90 points. The Flint Firebirds would come in third with a record of 32, 28, 3, and 5 for 72 points. The Sarnia Sting, fourth with a record of 31, 36, and 1, 69 points. And missing the playoffs this year would be the Saginaw Spirit with a record of 27, 32, 7, and 2 for 63 points. In the Midwest Division, the Erie Otters once again at the top, another 50-win season. And along with 15 losses, 2 overtime losses, and a shootout loss, good for 103 points. 1 point better than the Owen Sound Attack, who finished with a record of 49, 15, 2, and 2 for 102 points. The London Knights third with a record of 46, 15, 3, and 4, 99 points. The Kitchener Rangers, fourth with a record of 36, 27, 3, and 2, 77 points. And missing the playoffs would be the Guelph Storm with a record of 21, 45, and 2 for 49 points. Now shifting over to the Eastern Conference in the Central Division, the Mississauga Steelheads, they would take top spot, a record of 34, 21, 6, and 7, 81 points. The Sudbury Wolves, second with a record of 27, 34, and 7, 61 points. The Niagara Ice Dogs, they would place third with a record of 23, 35, 6, and 4 for 56 points. North Bay Battalion, they would miss the playoffs with a record of 24, 38, 5, and 1, 54 points. While the Barrie Colts, the bottom of the division and also missing the playoffs with a record of 17, 44, 6, and 1 for 41 points. Now in the East Division, it would be the Peterborough Petes taking the top spot, a record of 42, 21, 2, and 3, 89 points. The Oshawa Generals, second with a record of 40, 23, 3, and 2, 85 points. The Kingston Frontenacs, third with a record of 33, 26, 5, and 4, 75 points. The Hamilton Bulldogs, they would take the fourth seed with a record of 33, 27, 4, and 4, 74 points. And the Ottawa 67s, fifth with a record of 26, 34, 7, and 1 for 70 points. Now, the Erie Otters would make history this season, becoming the first franchise to record 50 wins in 4 consecutive seasons, which is unreal when you look at it with the way junior hockey works with the cycles. You have a couple of down years and then a couple of good years. But this Erie Otters team, ever since drafting Connor McDavid, and then you had Dylan Strome and Alex DeBrincat, Connor Brown, list goes on. This team found ways to win. And Chris Knobloch, of course, was the head coach during this time. So 4 consecutive 50-win seasons, just remarkable by the Erie Otters. This would also be the final season of the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. And the Windsor Spitfires actually got to host a game against the Saginaw Spirit in front of a crowd of 3,100 fans. And the Spitfires, they would win that game 3-2 in overtime with a hat trick from Sean Day. And of course, if you've been following along with the history series, the Joe Louis Arena, yes, it was the home of the Detroit Red Wings, but it also served as the home of the Detroit Junior Red Wings and the Detroit Ambassadors for a time in the early 1990s before the feud between Karmanos and Illich. And if you didn't see those videos, highly recommend you go back and get a recap as to what all happened when junior hockey arrived in the city of Detroit in the early 1990s. So it was a nice touch, though, the Windsor Spitfires getting a chance to close out Joe Louis Arena when it comes to junior hockey history. Taking a look now at the top scorers from this season, Alex DeBrincat would lead the way from the Erie Otters. 65 goals, 62 assists, 127 points. Second in scoring was Taylor Radish of the Erie Otters, 42 goals, 67 assists, 109 points. Adam Maturin will be third from the Kitchener Rangers, 35 goals, 65 assists, 100 points. Petrus Palmu of the Owen Sound Attack, he was fourth in scoring, 40 goals, 58 assists, 98 points. And then you have Nick Suzuki of the Owen Sound Attack, 45 goals, 51 assists, 96 points. Jordan Kyrou with the Sarnia Sting, he had 30 goals, 64 assists, 94 points. And then you have Ryan Moore of the Flint Firebirds, 39 goals, 51 assists, 90 points. Eighth in scoring would be Cliff Poo of the London Knights, 35 goals, 51 assists, 86 points. Ninth in scoring, Cole Sherwood of the Flint Firebirds, 33 goals, 52 assists, 85 points. And rounding out the top 10 would be Kevin Hancock of the Owen Sound Attack, 30 goals, 55 assists for 85 points. Looking at the playoff picture, the Erie Otters, they took top spot in the West and would face the Sarnia Sting in the opening round, which the Otters would complete the series sweep. Then you would have the Sioux Greyhounds against the Flint Firebirds, the first playoff appearance for the Firebirds. It was short-lived as the Greyhounds would eliminate them in 5 games, while the Owen Sound Attack, they took care of the Kitchener Rangers in 5, and the London Knights, they would defeat the Windsor Spitfires in 7 games. Over in the Eastern Conference, the Peterborough Petes, taking that top seed, had no issues with the Niagara Ice Dogs. They would complete the series sweep, while the Mississauga Steelheads, they needed 6 games to eliminate the Ottawa 67s. The Oshawa Generals, they took care of Sudbury in 6 games, while the Kingston Frontenacs, they would defeat the Hamilton Bulldogs in 7 games, as this would also be Hamilton's first trip to the OHL playoffs. In the second round, Erie-London, quite the rivalry during this stretch of OHL history, and it would be the Otters this time getting the upper hand, winning this series in 7 games, while the Owen Sound Attack, they go into Sault Ste. Marie, and they eliminate the Greyhounds in 6 games. Over in the Eastern Conference, the Peterborough Petes, another sweep. This time they would take care of the Kingston Frontenacs, and the Mississauga Steelheads, rather. Haven't said Ice Dogs in a while for Mississauga, but I'm making that mistake here. But let's continue on. The Mississauga Steelheads, they would eliminate the Oshawa Generals in 5 games. When it comes to the conference final, Erie versus Owen Sound, the two Midwest Division rivals, the Otters, they would get the upper hand, winning this series in 6 games to advance to the OHL Championship, while the Peterborough Petes, after sweeping the first 2 rounds, they would be swept themselves, with the Mississauga Steelheads taking them out in 4 straight. So for the J Ross Robertson Cup, you would have the Erie Otters against the Mississauga Steelheads. And Erie, remember, they went to the OHL final in 2015 and lost to the Oshawa Generals in 5. But this time they would not be denied, as they would win their second OHL championship in franchise history, defeating Mississauga in 5 games. Now, it's just kind of too bad they were wearing their jerseys with this logo on it, as they made a brief change, but still quite the achievement that the Otters would win their second OHL championship. And the Memorial Cup was in the OHL this season. It would be the Windsor Spitfires who were the host. And remember, Windsor was knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. A bit of a surprise, especially with how they placed in the Western Conference standings, considering they went all in to host the Memorial Cup. But also joining them at the tournament would be the St. John Sea Dogs from the Quebec Maritime Junior Hockey League and the Seattle Thunderbirds of the Western Hockey League. Now, this was a dominant showing from both the Otters and the Spitfires, both teams firing on all cylinders. Windsor, they set a record for the fastest 3 goals in a span of 38 seconds in a 7-1 victory over Seattle, while Dylan Strome from the Otters, he had a 7-point night, which set a Memorial Cup record, 4 goals, 3 assists in a 12-5 win over St. John. And that score is also a record in Memorial Cup history. No other team has put up 12 goals in a Memorial Cup game. It's just remarkable what the teams were doing in this tournament. Now, Windsor, they were 3-0 in the round robin, while Erie, they were 2-1. The Otters, they would have to face St. John in the semifinal. They would take that one by a score of 6-3. And in the Memorial Cup final, the Windsor Spitfires at the WFCU Center would win the Memorial Cup on home ice by a final score of 4-3 over the Erie Otters. And this is another Memorial Cup championship added to the trophy cabinet of the Windsor Spitfires after winning back-to-back in 2009, 2010. And they get back and win this one on home ice. So it was quite the entertaining Memorial Cup, as the OHL just dominating right from the get-go, is St. John and Seattle having a hard time getting things going. Now, your award winners for this season, the Red Tilson and the Eddie Powers, would both go to Alex DeBrincat of the Erie Otters. Ryan McGill of the Owen Sound Attack, he won the Matt Layden Trophy. The Jim Mahan Memorial went to Alex DeBrincat of the Otters, while Darren Radish of the Otters won the Max Kaminsky Trophy. Your OHL Goaltender of the Year was Michael McNiven of the Owen Sound Attack. The Dave Pickney Trophy would go to Michael McNiven and Emmanuel Vella of the Owen Sound Attack. Noticing a theme here, Owen Sound and Erie dominating on the trophy awards. The WF Dinty Moore Trophy went to Matt Villalta, the Sioux Greyhounds. Garrett McFadden of the Guelph Storm won the Dan Snyder Memorial. William Hanley would go to Nick Suzuki of the Owen Sound Attack, while the Leo Lalonde Memorial went to Darren Radish of the Otters. Sasha Chmielewski of the Ottawa 67s took home the Bobby Smith Trophy. The Mickey Renaud Captain's Trophy went to Alex Peters of the Flint Firebirds. And the Wayne Gretzky 99 Award for Playoff MVP would go to Warren Fogle of the Erie Otters. So the 2016-2017 season, not quite the entertaining run, as it just goes to show the Midwest Division, one of the toughest divisions in the OHL, as the Otters winning another championship, but falling short in the Memorial Cup to the Windsor Spitfires. So that's a quick summary of the 2016-2017 season. If you have stories you want to share, you can put that down in the comments section down below. And I appreciate all your support. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we will talk to you again soon.